Hey guys, I know you wanted me to go live tonight, but I'm going to go ahead and do a recording because I'm kind of on my limited time waiting here to take the test that I have to take. So tonight we're going to do a review. As we were going through the review sheets today, one of the things that I noticed is that we should go back and we need to maybe do a little bit of revisiting with place value. So in front of you here, I have a place value chart. So when we first started learning place value, we began, and all of you first graders, when I had you in first grade, we counted the days of the year. And every day, we would put in a new stick. When that stick got to 10, we would trade it in and we would bundle it for a 10. And so your understanding of place value started a very long time ago. Since then, we've added on to your schema. And you are able to recognize place value all the way up through 1 million. This year, we started looking at decimals on the place value chart. And the way that I like to think about decimals is that I like to think about it as money, okay? When you have a decimal and a number, it means it's the change. It's what's left over. So, for example, if I had 75 cents, I would write that as $0.75. I could also write it as 75 cents. But what that means is if I have 75 cents and there's a candy bar that costs $1, do I have enough to buy it? No, because I do not have one whole. I just have 75 cents. I just have the change. And so when we look at place value with decimals, I want you to think about the things that are left over. Okay? We're really having a lot of confusion with what those decimals really mean. So remember, you are the mathematician here. You own your learning. And sometimes you have to take that responsibility of stepping back and asking yourself, what does this number mean? We're getting so much better about that. I can usually say, hey, well, tell me, where did you get that number? Or why did you use that number? And you can do that. I'm noticing, however, with the decimals that we're still really struggling to understand what that means. And so today, I just want to review the place value chart with you and a little bit of work with decimals. Okay. So the first thing that we're going to review on the place value chart is the value of the places and the value of the numbers. So this, I didn't put the words up here because you all know these: ones, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000s. All right, so what the place value chart does for me is this. All right, if I have the number 342 and 37 hundredths, then it gives me the opportunity to kind of look at the expanded value, or what this number is really worth. Because what this means is that if I were to draw this in 3 in the hundreds, I would have 1, 2, 3, 4 in the tens, 2 in the ones. And so when you look at that, you know that these hundreds blocks, that I actually have a value of 300 here. This number is actually 300, okay? It takes 10 of these to make this. It takes 10 of these to make one of these. So if I have one of these, I can break it apart into 10 pieces, right? So on the place value chart, each place value increases 10 times. So if I had a 2 here and a 2 here, then the value of the first 2 is 10 times the value of this 2. Okay, because this is really 20 because it is in the tens place. So when we're talking about long division and we're talking about comparing numbers, having this place value chart, which you should have in your folder where we have all of your templates, you can draw these out and help you to see which number might be bigger. Now, this part I'm not so worried about, but what we're getting confused on is over here in the decimal, okay? And so what happens with a decimal is as we go this way, the numbers get bigger. As we go this way, the numbers get smaller. 10 times smaller each time. So we kind of did a demonstration where if I had one piece of paper and I divided it into tenths, then I would take this paper and I would rip it into 10 pieces. Okay? I could rip it, but I'm not going to be able to on this one. If I took those 10 pieces and I ripped it into hundredths, then those pieces are going to get even smaller. Okay, and so if this were a pan of brownies, and I said that you can have tenths, or you can have hundredths of pieces, which one would you rather have? Well, I guess if you're a chocolate lover, you'd rather have the tenths, because that would be one whole row. All right, so it's kind of like a mirror. If I were to put a mirror right here, it gets 10 times bigger this way. Gets 10 times smaller each time going this way. But it's the mirror is here. Tens, hundreds, thousands, tens, hundred thousands. They're going in opposite directions. Okay? So the more of a decimal, the smaller the fraction. All right. So where does that come into play? So the one thing that I want to look at that I saw today was we had a problem. And so I'm going to bring my place value chart, same place value chart, 10, 100,000, tenths, hundredths, thousands, same place value chart. And I'm going to add our metric units to it. Okay? So this is when a lot of times we're dealing with the volume of a liquid, or we're dealing with distance, and we're dealing with those numbers that have the prefixes of kilo, deca, deci, centa. And this always kind of throws us for a loop. So you've been taught how to remember what order they go in, right? So King Henry died drinking chocolate milk, or kangaroos hop. Oh man, I'm drawing a blank. You guys know this one. Finish it out for me. Kangaroos hop down drinking chocolate milk. I'm not even sure. But you've been taught a way to remember the order in which it goes in. So as long as you've got that part, you've got the first step. But what we have to do with this now is not just memorize the order, but understand how to use it. So let's say that I had 3,000 milliliters, okay? And I want to know how many liters that is. All right, so the first thing that I have to do is that I have to go to this prefix, milli. It's right here, okay? Now, I'm sorry, I gotta think for a second. 2, 3, because the new way confuses me sometimes too. All right. So if I'm going from milli to liters, I'm here and I have to move 1, 2, 3 columns. This is my unit. So this is the ones place. So this is your liters, your grams, your meters. And so this is your ones place. And so if this is where I'm going to. So to do that, I would take this 3,000 and I would shift it 10, 100, 1,000 places. So if I was here, I would go 10, hundreds, thousands, and my decimal becomes here.